13.8 billion years ago, an event happened. That event changed everything in our universe. Whatever we observe today is a result of that event. But among many researchers of space science, some questions are still debated, such as why universe inflated after the explosion and why that inflation occurred. The entire universe is traveling in respect of time, and the energy which makes it to travel comes from cells, which are tiny pieces of energy for which they get speed according to the intensity of energy they possess. The cells are the smallest unit of time which makes any physical result for an observer after consolidating with other similar cells that enhance its energy to reach a third cell traveling at higher speed. Here is a question: if cell created those results we observe today traveling at different speed of time, then who created these billions of billion cells? The answer is cell itself. Since each cell wants to raise its intensity to justify its existence stronger than its previous version to survive longer in time. Traveling at different speed of time, a time comes when many cells overtake each other or their speed becomes equal. Since a cell contains energy flowing from one direction to other, creates two ends, attracting end or positive end to broadcast its own energy field for other similar cell, and receiving end or negative end to receive broadcasting signal from other similar cells. Combinedly, both ends creates its energy field. When two or more cells having different intensity with same nature of energy comes in a line of sight with two opposite ends, energy field of each one tries to pull other towards it and gets stuck for a moment, but due to different intensity of energy or speed, time pulls them apart immediately. For the moment they get stuck, time was still powering them, but because they didn't travel for that energy gets congregated around these cells. Since cells immediately return on their speed unaffected of event energy, this energy takes shape of new cell that contains time's energy or the speed at which it will travel, and the nature of energy will be combination of both cells' energy nature. This collision of cells in time known as event. Cells not necessarily shows two ends always. This is because the energy flowing inside cell is independent and use its energy to either communicate or to hide its energy field from unnecessary high intensified cells traveling closer to it. According to its requirement, it can change its energy direction to flow from one end to other, which also clarifies the theory about magnetic monopole. Cells travels on a highway created by time for the speed they possess. That is, a high speed cell will travel on high speed highway and vice versa. These highways known as time circles. Time circles are those group of cells which share its speed with time circle's speed, or in other words, time circles are those classes in which only a authenticate student can read, and this authenticity comes from its speed, although the nature of energy could be different. Similar to it's not necessary all students would have same height, but they must hold 8th class certificate to switch into 9th class. Today, whatever we are observing is observing result from many time circles, but this was not same 13.8 billion years ago. At that time, probably it was just a single time circle which would have been a large pool of energy carrying many cells having ability to travel for millions of years. Since the energy formed our universe today was just a size of football field and to expanding with a rate at which new cells were generating through events. But since all cells was part of same time circle, it was known as only prime time circle for these cells. At some time when millions of cells having equal intensity but with different nature of energy came into line of sight, or time when all cells becomes at same speed, they stuck into each other's energy field. Since all cells had equal intensity of energy, so time couldn't force them to eject. All cells were now stopped. The required energy for cells to travel in time circle now started congregated around. The energy congregated around until it reached at highest intensity of energy that a time circle could hold, and ends at the biggest explosion of history. The energy inside cells had single energy form of multiple and different form of energy we can observe today. So, the event energy would have been a mixture of different energy pools. Pools that showed highest consolidation becomes clusters, while those not, repelling other nature of energy. These clusters and other pool of energy were unknown for this time circle. Whenever an energy doesn't belong to its current time circle, it automatically switch into respective time circle. Since that time no time circle was existed, the energy couldn't go anywhere. Clusters and other pools of energies now become pressure time bomb that wants to reset from other pool. Since cells were still in the event and continuously releasing energy, the pressure from event energy and repelling energy pools, accelerating the pressure between information bonding of time circle and bonding with other cell that wasn't part of that event, which ends in an explosion. The explosion released so much radiation. A second after the explosion, the clusters and other pools races away with the speed of light and becomes an independent time circle side by side that we can measure today at our own time traveling speed. Cells which were now free followed its prime energy group that showed its speed and intensity. These time circles, since formed from its prime time circle, now become supreme prime for all present time circle. The heat was a free form of energy for which no cell claimed. So with time it gets cooled and absorbed once the energy reaches at desired intensity of respective time circles. All time circles had its independent energy, but since formed from its supreme prime, cells traveling in one time circle may share its some properties with other cell traveling in different time circle. That explains today why some results are visible while some not. For example, black holes, spider webs, dark matter, these all are result of those cells which holds different intensity of energy and travels in a high speed time cycle than an observer. With law of time, a result can observe other result if either it is traveling at its speed or share some cell's energy. So an observer only can observe thing exist at his speed or can observe complete result around shared cells only. An independent time cycle possesses huge energy in the form of its cell. Some cells got high intensified energy while some got low intensified energy. According to their speed, time cycle groups them called information group or subordinate time circle, where they share equal energy with other similar cell possessing similar intensity with subordinate time circle. A subordinate time cycle builds when an event's energy holds intensity below to the time cycle but cannot fit in any information group existing currently in time circle. Cells traveling beneath an information group consolidate and forms result, and that is the reason why galaxies are receding or why universe is expanding. Since two different time circles are formed with two different energy pools or clusters which don't want to consolidate. So as the new information group builds, it gets closer towards other time circle. Energy flowing inside time circle ripple in opposite direction. That is the possible reason why dark energy exists. Information group or subordinate time circle wasn't existed in prime time circle due to equal intensity of all cells in time circle. If it had one, the event energy weren't that much stronger. Since everything is traveling relative to other, from which it inherit energy to travel under it. For example, cells travel relative to its prime time circle, or in other words, human to earth, earth to galaxy and galaxy to universe. That means supreme prime time circle must had its own prime from which it inherited its energy. That prime we call time zone, and all time circles we observe today are subordinate of this prime time zone. One strong proof of time zone is gravitational waves. If nothing was beyond prime time circle, then after the explosion, what makes it to travel at the speed of light in absence of time circle? The universe inflated at the speed of light. That means time was evenly active in entire universe and time circle was just a part of it, covering 99.9% of energy of time. If our time zone created this entire universe, then it is possible there may have many time zones exist which would have been different time circles and even bigger results than our universe. If yes, then how many? And who would be its prime? Perhaps a supreme time zone. The theory of parallel universe could prove absolutely right if there are other time zone exist, and if not, then our time zone would be called supreme time zone, but there must be an energy source from which it got its energy. But how? That is mystery for now.